The androids. Having recounted his troubled tale, Trunks presents Goku with a vial containing an antidote to the heart virus he is one day doomed to suffer. If Goku can only survive the virus, thousands of people may be spared a future of death and terror at the hands of the androids. Trunks takes his leave, but promises to meet them all again at the precise time and place of the androids' first appearance. The Z Warriors take these words to heart, and for the next 3 years they train with all their might, until at last the time comes to meet the android threat.
The game claims it's time to meet the android threat, and I suppose since we are fighting many of the prototype androids, that's technically true. But this level is actually meant to represent when they go searching for Android 19 and 20. But let's ignore that for now, we've got more important things to focus on. This level has a unique objective in that we're supposed to protect the Capsule Corp buildings from being blown up. None of the other buildings, just the Capsule Corp buildings. No one else matters. For the life of me, I can't fathom how exactly the androids are supposed to destroy the buildings. Yeah, they will occasionally stop to fire at them, but you kill them way too quickly for them to be an actual threat. Speaking of which, the strategy of blowing their heads off still works perfectly fine, as you can see here. I'm sorry about your car, sir or madam, but we only have to protect the Capsule Corp buildings. Your car is not important. You know, you can fly from place to place, but I don't realize when I gave up on that, but it seems like I pretty much entirely gave up on flying, and just use the hilarious running animation all the time. So, in case you were hoping for something different from the last saga, no, this is basically just what we did in the first act of the last one. But with the addition of Capsule Corp buildings to protect, so it's technically different. I'm a little less down on this one because the illusion of variety is important to me, and because we actually have our super... See, he gets a special cutscene this time and actually uses his attacks. And he can use them in the other saga too, he just doesn't for whatever reason. Anyway, as you saw, he can summon tiny robots which will chase us around and explode. And we can easily block them, which makes their damage negligible. If I recall correctly, those big guys do have at least one other attack, but I could be misremembering. With how much I've played this game, you figure I would be more sure, but it's not like I ever gave them a chance to attack when I played it when I was younger. Yeah, here's his attack, and I assume it's supposed to hurt, but it doesn't, so I don't have much to say about it. He can fire it multiple times in rapid succession, but it still accomplishes absolutely nothing, so maybe he shouldn't have bothered. Again, I look at the Z upgrade station and ask myself, should I have shown off the upgrades? And the answer is still no. Seriously, it's the most boring, awful thing you can imagine. You just scour the level looking for Z coins, which includes sometimes flying all the way back through a level from a higher vantage point, because you can't change the elevation of your flight manually. It's really weird. It's actually one of the few obvious pieces of design in the game. They place the collectibles so high up that you have to move all the way to the end of the level, find a tall hill, jump from there, and fly all the way back through, backtracking to get every coin that was too high for you to reach before. It's inexplicable. It's not like it only happens in one stage either, so I think I did you a massive service by collecting all the upgrades ahead of time. You know, it occurs to me that the block is rarely used. It's not even important. The combo breaker is kind of fun though, which is an upgrade I had to buy, by the way. The best part about the combo breaker is just how unbalanced it is. You activate it by just smashing the X button while you're in the middle of being attacked, and you're guaranteed to break out of the combo. And the enemies can also use combo breakers, but since the combo breaker is so easy to pull off and doesn't require any timing or skill, they can also just break out of any combo they want whenever they feel like it. With us, combo breaking uses our key meter, but they don't have a key meter. You've probably seen a few of the enemies use combo breakers at this point, but it starts to get a lot more frequent in the Cell Saga. Granted, we are playing on hard mode, and it may be more frequent in hard mode. But still, it doesn't change the fact that the AI can use it whenever they want to, and there's no penalty for them. It feels like the Combo Breaker was an attempt to add more nuance to the fighting in Dragon Ball Z Sagas, and I suppose it technically works insofar as it gives you something new that you can do and makes the fights more difficult, but it's just so haphazardly implemented. My favorite thing about the Combo Breaker by far, though, is that Combo Breaker appears on screen in flashes whenever you use it. I interrupted myself when I was saying this earlier, but we do indeed now have our Super Saiyan form that we can use whenever we feel like it. I'm trying to save it for the next batch of enemies, though, because I don't want to waste it. The Super Saiyan mode is basically a one-hit kill against normal enemies. This makes this level pass a lot faster, and it would also make the Trunks Saga pass a lot faster if only we could have played as Gohan. But for some bizarre reason, when you're playing story mode, you can't choose between the two available characters. You can only do that when you're doing level select. I still enjoy the environmental destruction in this game, and I will never stop enjoying the environmental destruction. Okay, the level is over, and here's the game's attempt at a cutscene showing us the end. Oh, hold on, there's one enemy left. Anyway, here's the game's attempt at a cutscene showing us what happens in reality in this episode.
The Z Warriors have come face to face with the sinister foes of Trunks' prediction. Android 19 and Android 20 have arrived. And little do our heroes realize, Android 20 is none other than the mad scientist Dr. Gero himself. Though Gero started out human, numerous robotic enhancements have given him all the powers of his android creation. Demonstrated by nothing but a section of the city. Feeling too many innocent bystanders would be caught in the crossfire, Goku decides to lead the fight away from the city.
You don't have a chance.
Super Saiyan Vegeta. The battle begins, and the androids are clearly unprepared for Goku in his Super Saiyan form. Goku's victory seems certain, until the mighty warrior suddenly begins clutching his heart in pain. Could this be the deadly heart virus of Trunks' warning? With Goku's advantage waning, Android 19 prepares to pounce, when another Saiyan steps in to finish the fight. It's Vegeta, ready to show the world that he too has become a Super Saiyan.
Come, Android.
So normally I would let Android 19's cutscene play, but we don't have a lot of time here. Android 19 dies really quickly while we're in Super Saiyan 2 form, and the basic idea of this Android 19 fight is to protect Goku from getting shot by Android 20, because Android 20 will occasionally shoot laser eyes at Goku, and Android 20 himself is invincible, but as you can see, Android 19 is very much not invincible. Android 20 can also create a giant purple shockwave that does jack shit.
After watching Vegeta send Android 19 to the scrap heap, Android 20, aka Dr. Gero, decides it is time to make a hasty retreat. Trunks arrives on the scene just in time to catch a glimpse, and is shocked to discover that these androids are not the same ones that destroyed his future world. But there's no time to ponder this strange turn of events. The hunt for Dr. Gero is on.
Really cool bit of trivia, that purple shockwave he used in the fight against us, totally the same purple shockwave he used to escape in the anime. Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. So we don't get to keep Super Saiyan 2 mode a lot longer, but we should be able to hold on to it long enough to kill these three guys. Of course, this is only if the hit detection cooperates, but thankfully it seemed to have behaved itself. Even though we fight yet more of the same damned androids in this level, it feels a lot different to me because of the layout of the level, and there are some new hazards mixed in here. But still, yeah, we're going to be fighting these same androids for the most part. Again, environmental destruction, best thing. The best thing about the game, and it's not even there by accident. You play as Vegeta a hell of a lot in this game. There's still one more stage where we play as Vegeta after this, which is why I called it the Vegeta Show starring Vegeta. As a quick note, I think I accidentally called Vegeta's Super Saiyan form Super Saiyan 2. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. I will say something else positive about this game real quick. There's only one specific place where the enemy choice seems awkward or forced. Like, you fight Frieza's soldiers in the Frieza Saga, you fight Cybermen in the Saiyan Saga, those fit. And the androids in the Android Saga, those fit even more. Because Dr. Gero is all about fucking contingency plans. He has so many contingency plans. There's himself in Android 19, there's Android 17 and 18. If you're going by the movies, there's Android 13, 14, and 15 to be made even after he's dead by his supercomputer. And then there's fucking Cell. Dr. Gero may not have much character, but it is completely believable that he would make a whole ton of weaker androids to fight everyone. So I have no complaint about the enemy choice here. Somehow I walked inside that rock, don't think too much about it. So the new hazard in this level are these things that look like Saiyan spaceships that fire lasers at us. For some reason they're hidden inside rocks, and I have to wonder why Dr. Gero did this. They're turrets, right? Why would you hide them inside of rocks? Then again, none of Dr. Gero's contingency plans are actually smart. Hold on, I'm sliding. None of Dr. Gero's contingency plans are actually smart. For example, when he turned into an android, he chose the weakest of the body types he created, the Android 19 body type, when there were vastly superior models he could have chosen from that would have made him a lot more durable and a lot stronger. Probably capable of taking on the Z fighters. Oh, and before I forget, because we're not done talking about Dr. Gero's crazy plans, he put a bomb inside Android 16 that is implied to have been strong enough to destroy Cell. Look, Dr. Gero had a checklist, alright? And on the checklist was, make a lot of androids, and make sure they're really, really strong. Preservation of his own life wasn't on the checklist. He was going for a quantity thing. If you just throw enough superpowered androids at your enemies, eventually they will die, right? Even if they don't have your objective in mind, it's inevitable that they will die eventually. It took him a really long time to play his plan out too, so he's probably already the most patient person in existence. You know, I didn't think I would find myself talking about the Dragon Ball lore during this Let's Play, but here we are, over half of the video is Dragon Ball lore again. Whoops, it keeps happening. I thought I got all of that taken care of in Tenkaichi 2, but apparently not. Apparently there's still some left in there.
Dr. Gero escapes to his secret lab, one step ahead of the pursuing Z-Warriors, and hastily activates two more of his diabolical creations, Androids 17 and 18. But the Doctor's haste proves to be his undoing. Refusing to submit to his control, the androids turn on their creator. The Z-Warriors blast through the doors, just in time to witness the Doctor's demise. And Trunks realizes that these new androids are the ones responsible for the destruction of his future world. Despite Trunks' best efforts to stop them, 17 and 18 manage to activate yet another android, number 16, a killing machine designed for the sole purpose of destroying Goku. Recognizing the threat, Trunks calls for a retreat, but Vegeta's pride will not let him back down. The Saiyan Prince launches into battle.
Fool! You don't even have a chance!
Focus your attacks on Android 18!
Vegeta is right, and Android 18 doesn't stand a chance, and even if she did, you've already seen this fight before. Thankfully, this is the last time we will have to fight Android 18, though we'll get one more showdown against 17. Making them the bosses you fight the most in the entire game, with Android 17 getting a grand total of 3. I can say I appreciate the effort that went into recreating the mountain roadside where this battle actually takes place in the source material. This mountain road site is incredibly overused in Tenkaichi 2, another Dragon Ball Z game that I wish I could forget I played, but it keeps coming back. I did 60 videos on you, why won't you leave me alone?
Having been easily defeated by the androids, the Z-Warriors split up in search of new ways to increase their strength. Meanwhile, the androids set out in search of Goku. Should they find him, Goku will be unable to defend himself until the antidote can take effect and eliminate the heart virus that holds him in its deadly grip. The situation desperate, Piccolo travels to Kami's lookout in the hopes of fusing with the aged Namek. Long ago, Kami purged the evil from his heart, thus splitting himself into two equal halves, Kami and Piccolo. If these two halves were to become whole once again, the result would be a Namek of incredible power. Kami realizes that this fusion may be the only way to combat the android. But he is hesitant to agree, for he senses a new evil roaming the Earth, a creature far more terrified than the androids. Piccolo's fusion. After assessing the situation on Earth, Kami reluctantly agrees to fuse with Piccolo. In an explosion of power, the two halves are made whole again, and Piccolo is transformed into a Super Namek. The new and improved Piccolo races to Master Roshi's house, where the androids have gone in their hunt for Goku. Now Piccolo must put his powers to the test as he faces the androids alone.
Oh, it's you again. Don't you ever give up.
You'll be eating my fist.
This is one of the better boss fights in the game for me because it gives me stuff to talk about. For example, we can now turn into a Super Namek through this same method one turns into a Super Saiyan, which makes no sense. You see, now that Piccolo has fusion, he's a Super Namek by default. He shouldn't have the Super Saiyan mechanic that the rest of the characters do, because it's not a transformation. Pushing that aside, there are a few things unique to this area that are worth talking about, like those flaming boulders raining from the volcano. Those can actually hit us and knock us out of our combo and deal damage. Not significant damage, mind you, but still damage. We can block them as with any other attack in the game, but if we don't block them, there's really no penalty to it. The second thing unique to this stage is that the hit detection is ass. I mentioned before that the hit detection fucks up when you're near rocks, but it's even worse for this specific fight, where the last hit of your combo sometimes refuses to land entirely, like right there, and 2 other times earlier. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if it's a problem with Piccolo's attack animation, or if it's this stage's geometry, or what. But it is rather odd. Unfortunately for Android 17 himself, he's not nearly as interesting as his stage. He has the same attacks that he always had, making him very predictable. But I do still have one more interesting thing to show off. After we turn Super Namek, we're going to try and hit Android 17 with our special beam cannon, and we're going to struggle with it. This is because the further you get into the game, the harder it is to hit enemies with your special attack. They either teleport out of the way, or it simply refuses to deal damage.
As the battle between Piccolo and Android 17 rages on, the evil force Kami warned of rears its ugly head.
You've got to protect Goku!